There is a silence that comes in the middle of the night, or perhaps in the quiet moments of the early morning, when the distractions of the world have faded away and you are left alone with your own thoughts. In this silence, a feeling often rises, a heavy, sinking sensation in the center of your chest. It is the feeling of being lost. It is not necessarily a physical sensation of not knowing where you are on a map, but a profound spiritual confusion about who you are and where you are going. You might be sitting in a comfortable home, surrounded by the things you worked hard to buy. You might be surrounded by people who love you, or you might be entirely alone. You might have achieved the goals you set for yourself years ago, or you might feel that you have failed at everything you tried. Yet, regardless of your circumstances, the feeling remains the same. It is a quiet desperation, a whisper that asks, "Is this it? Is this all there is? What am I supposed to do now?" This feeling of being lost is not a modern invention. It is not caused solely by social media or the economy or the rapid pace of technology, though these things can certainly make the noise louder. This feeling is as old as humanity itself. It is the human condition. 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man on earth felt the exact same weight that you feel today. His name was Marcus Aurelius. When we think of him, we often imagine a marble statue, cold, distant, unfeeling, a Roman emperor staring blankly into history. But before he was an emperor, and before he was a symbol of Stoicism, he was a man. He was a human being who struggled to get out of bed in the morning. He was a man who felt the crushing weight of responsibility, who dealt with the betrayal of friends, the death of his children, the constant threat of war, and the plague that ravaged his empire. He did not write his famous book, Meditations, for us. He did not write it to be published, or to be famous, or to be admired by future generations. He wrote it for himself. He wrote it by candlelight in a cold tent on the military frontier, surrounded by darkness and uncertainty, trying to talk himself through his own anxiety, his own anger, and his own feeling of being lost. When you read his words, you are not reading a sermon. You are eavesdropping on a man trying to heal his own soul. And in that intimate conversation he had with himself, he discovered the cure for the very confusion that you are feeling right now. To understand why you feel lost, you must first understand where you have been looking for directions. Most of us spend our lives trying to navigate using a map drawn by other people. From the moment we are born, we are told what success looks like. We are told that happiness is found in a destination, a specific job, a certain amount of money, a relationship status, a house, a reputation. We are taught that life is a ladder, and if we just keep climbing, eventually we will reach a place where we feel safe, complete, and found. So we climb, we struggle, we exhaust ourselves, and when we finally reach that rung of the ladder, or when we fall off it, we look around and realize that the feeling of completeness isn't there. Marcus Aurelius warned himself against this trap. He reminded himself constantly that the opinions of others, the applause of the crowd, and the accumulation of wealth were like smoke. He realized that the reason we feel lost is that we have anchored our happiness to things that are not within our control. Imagine you were the captain of a ship. If you try to navigate by watching the waves, you will be constantly turning, constantly panicked, because the waves are always changing. They are unpredictable. They rise and fall, just like the economy, just like the moods of other people, just like the trends of society. If you navigate by the waves, you will always feel lost. Marcus taught that you must navigate by the stars, by the fixed, unchangeable principles that exist inside of you, regardless of what the ocean is doing.
You feel lost because you have given the keys to your peace of mind to strangers. You have allowed your sense of self-worth to be dictated by how many people like you, how many people agree with you, or how you compare to the person standing next to you. In the ancient world, Marcus looked at the ambitious people around him, men striving for statues to be built in their honor, and he laughed gently at the absurdity of it. He realized that soon, very soon, both the person who remembers and the person who is remembered will be dead. He understood that seeking validation from the outside world is a recipe for perpetual anxiety. When you stop looking for the world to tell you who you are, the fog begins to clear. Consider the anxiety you feel about the future. This is a primary source of feeling lost. You stand in the present moment, but your mind is miles away, living in a hypothetical future that has not happened and may never happen. You worry about failure. You worry about being alone. You worry about not having enough. This mental time travel drains your energy and leaves you paralyzed. Marcus Aurelius faced wars that could have destroyed his civilization. He faced plots to assassinate him. If anyone had a right to be anxious about the future, it was him. Yet he coached himself to stay in the present. He famously said that we only ever live in the present moment, for the past is gone and the future is uncertain. He realized that the weight of the future is too heavy for anyone to carry. When you try to carry the burden of the next 10 years on your shoulders today, your knees will buckle. You will feel crushed. You will feel lost because you are trying to solve problems that do not yet exist. The Stoic wisdom is to realize that you do not need to figure out your entire life today. You do not need to know the ending of the story. You only need to know how to handle this moment. The strength you need for the future will be there when the future arrives, just as the strength you needed for the past was there when you went through it. By bringing your focus back to the here and now, you find your footing. You stop drifting in the imaginary storms of tomorrow and plant your feet on the solid ground of today. But perhaps you feel lost not because of the future, but because of the past. Maybe you are carrying a heavy bag of regrets. You replay old conversations in your head. You cringe at mistakes you made years ago. You mourn opportunities you missed. You define yourself by who you were rather than who you are. This too creates a profound sense of dislocation. It's like trying to drive a chariot while staring backward. You will inevitably crash. Marcus reminded himself that the past is dead. It is out of your power. No amount of guilt, no amount of shame, and no amount of wishing can change a single second of what has already happened. To be Stoic is to accept the past as if you had written it yourself. It is to say, this happened, it is part of my story. Now, what do I do with it? When you stop fighting with the past, you free up an immense amount of energy. You realize that being lost is often just a refusal to accept where you actually are. You want to be somewhere else, someone else, sometime else. But you are here, and here is the only place where life exists. This acceptance is not resignation, it is the first step of power. You cannot navigate to a new destination until you honestly admit where you are standing right now.
Another reason for this deep internal confusion is the exhaustion of desire. We are told that to be happy, we must want more, we must crave, we must hunger. But the Stoics understood that unchecked desire is a form of slavery. When you desperately want something you do not have, you are telling yourself, I am not enough as I am. You create a gap between your reality and your happiness, and in that gap, misery grows. Marcus Aurelius was the richest man in the empire. He could have had anything. He could have indulged in every pleasure, every luxury, every vice. Yet he lived simply. He understood that true freedom is not having everything you want, but wanting what you have. When you chase things, status, romance, possessions, thinking they will fill the hole inside you, you are pouring water into a jar with a crack in the bottom. It will never be full. You will always feel empty, and that emptiness feels like being lost. The Stoic path is to seal the crack. It is to find contentment in your own character, in your own capacity to reason, to love, and to do the right thing. When your sense of worth comes from your internal character rather than your external possessions, you can never be lost, because you carry your home with you wherever you go. You could lose your job, your house, and your reputation, but you cannot lose your virtue unless you choose to give it away. Let us speak also of the pain of loneliness, for this often makes us feel most lost of all. You can feel lonely in a crowded room. You can feel lonely in a marriage. This loneliness stems from a feeling of disconnection, a sense that no one truly understands the burden you carry. Marcus Aurelius was arguably the loneliest man in the empire. He had no equal. He had no one he could fully confide in who didn't want something from him. He carried the weight of the world alone. And yet, he reminded himself constantly of his connection to the whole. He viewed humanity as a single living organism. He saw himself as a limb on a body connected to every other human being by the nature of reason. He believed that we were made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like rows of teeth. When you feel lost and alone, Stoicism asks you to look outward, not for validation, but for service. When you are wrapped up in your own head, spiraling in your own problems, you are cut off from the flow of life. But the moment you help someone else, the moment you make yourself useful to another human being, you reconnect. You find your place in the great web of humanity. Purpose is rarely found in thinking. It is found in doing. It is found in acting for the common good. If you feel lost, find someone to help. In that act, you will find yourself. There is also a deeper, more uncomfortable truth that Marcus faced, and one that we often avoid: the reality of impermanence. We feel lost because we try to hold on to things that are by nature slippery. We try to freeze time. We want our loved ones to live forever, our bodies to stay young, our situations to remain stable. But the universe is a river of change. Heraclitus, a philosopher Marcus admired, said no man steps in the same river twice. When we resist change, we suffer. We feel like we are losing control, but we never had control in the past. Marcus would look at the stars, or the changing seasons, or the cycle of life and death, and remind himself that he was just a small part of this massive, shifting cosmos. This sounds frightening, but it is actually liberating. It means you don't have to control the universe. You don't have to hold it all together. You can let go. You can float with the current rather than swimming against it. Being lost is often just the friction of resisting the direction life is taking you. When you accept that change is inevitable, that loss is part of life, and that everything is temporary, you stop clinging so tightly. You relax, and in that relaxation, clarity returns.
Now, you might be thinking, this sounds beautiful, but how do I apply this? My problems are real, my bills are real, my heartbreak is real. And you are right. Stoicism is not about pretending that pain doesn't exist. It is not about becoming a robot. Marcus wept, he grieved, he felt anger, but he did not let these emotions take the wheel. He practiced what we might call the citadel of the mind. Imagine that inside you there is a fortress. The outside world can attack the walls. It can throw insults. It can take your money. It can injure your body. But it cannot enter the fortress unless you open the gate. Your mind, your judgments, your decisions, these are yours. No one can force you to feel insulted. No one can force you to feel like a victim. They can do things to you, but they cannot dictate how you interpret those things. This is the ultimate source of direction. When you realize that you are the master of your own judgment, you stop feeling like a leaf blowing in the wind. You realize that even if everything around you is chaos, you can maintain order within. You can choose to be calm. You can choose to be kind. You can choose to be brave. This is the compass that never breaks. Think about the pressure to figure it out. Society puts immense pressure on us to have a grand purpose, a calling. If we don't have a burning passion or a clear 10-year plan, we feel like failures. We feel lost. But Marcus did not obsess over a grand, abstract destiny. He focused on the duty at hand. He focused on doing the small things right. When he woke up, he didn't worry about saving the world. He worried about getting out of bed and doing the work of a human being. If you feel lost, lower your gaze. Stop looking at the horizon and look at what is right in front of you. What is the next right thing to do? Not the big thing, just the next thing. Maybe it is washing the dishes. Maybe it is sending an email. Maybe it is apologizing to someone. Maybe it is taking a walk. Life is built moment by moment, action by action. By simply doing the task in front of you with focus and integrity, you build momentum. You build self-respect. You walk your way out of the forest one step at a time. You do not need to see the exit to take the first step. We must also talk about the poison of comparison. In the age of Marcus, just as in ours, people looked at their neighbors with envy. Why does he have that title? Why is she so happy? Comparison creates a false map where you are always in the wrong place. You look at someone else's highlight reel and compare it to your behind-the-scenes struggles. This is a guaranteed recipe for feeling lost and inadequate. Marcus reminded himself to run his own race. He understood that everyone is fighting their own battle. The person you envy has their own demons, their own sorrows, their own sleepless nights. To look at their path is to ignore your own. Stay in your lane. Focus on your own progress, your own character. Your journey is unique to you. It cannot be measured by someone else's ruler. And what of failure? Many of us feel lost because we tried something and it didn't work. We faced a setback, a rejection, a collapse. We feel that we have fallen off the path. But Stoicism teaches us the obstacle is the way. Marcus wrote that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is a radical shift in perspective. It means that being lost is not an error. It is part of the training. The failure was not a dead end. It was a redirection. The heartbreak was not a punishment. It was a lesson in independence. The job loss was not a tragedy. It was an opportunity to reassess what you truly value.
When you view life through this lens, you can never truly be lost, because every situation, no matter how difficult, offers a path forward. There is always a virtue you can practice. If you are stuck in traffic, you can practice patience. If you are insulted, you can practice forgiveness. If you are in pain, you can practice endurance. If you are successful, you can practice humility. The world is a gym, and every situation is just a different piece of equipment for you to train on. You are not lost, you are training. Let this sink in. You are not your job. You are not your bank account. You are not your relationship status. You are not your past mistakes. You are the conscious observer who can choose how to respond to all of these things. That is your core. That is your true self. As you listen to this, you might feel a resistance. You might feel that letting go of control is dangerous. You might feel that if you stop worrying, everything will fall apart. But look at your worry. Has it helped? Has the anxiety solved the problem? Has the sleeplessness changed the outcome? Marcus realized that our anxiety does not empty tomorrow of its sorrows, but only empties today of its strength. It is a useless drain. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on a high mountain looking down at your life. This is a technique the Stoics called the view from above. From this height, the city is just a speck. The cars are like ants. Your problems, which feel so massive when you are in the middle of them, look tiny from up here. You see the vastness of the earth, the curve of the horizon. You realize how small you are in the grand scheme of things. This smallness is not depressing, it is comforting. It means your mistakes are not cosmic catastrophes. It means your confusion is just a fleeting moment in time. It takes the pressure off. You are just a human being doing your best on a small planet for a short time. You are allowed to be imperfect. You are allowed to not know the answers. You are allowed to rest. So why do you feel lost? Because you have forgotten this perspective. You have zoomed in too close. You are staring at the pixels and missing the picture. You are trapping yourself in the cage of your own expectations. Marcus Aurelius eventually died, as all men do. His empire eventually fell, as all empires do. But his wisdom survived because it speaks to the eternal part of us, the part that wants peace, the part that wants meaning. He teaches us that peace is not found in a place where there is no noise, no trouble, and no hard work. Peace is found in the midst of all those things, knowing that you are calm in your heart. As we move toward the end of this journey together, I want you to take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs. That breath is life. That breath is the present moment. As long as you have that breath, you have options. You have the power to choose a new thought. You do not need to find yourself. You were never lost to begin with. You are right here. You are simply hidden under layers of fear, layers of conditioning, layers of noise. Stoicism is the process of peeling back those layers. It is the process of remembering what you already know. You are capable of handling whatever comes next. You have survived 100% of your bad days. You have navigated every storm up until this point. Trust that resilience. Trust that inner citadel. Do not be afraid of the silence. Do not be afraid of the uncertainty. Embrace it. It is in the unknown that growth happens. If you knew exactly where you were going, you would be on a train track, not a path. The fact that you feel lost means you are exploring. It means you are awake to the complexities of life. It is a sign of intelligence, not stupidity. Walk forward with your head high, not because you are arrogant, but because you possess the divine spark of reason. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself as you would a good friend who is struggling. You would not scream at a friend who is lost. You would gently guide them. Be that guide for yourself. Remember Marcus in his tent. Remember that even emperors feel lost. And remember that the answer is not out there in the world. It is not in the next purchase, the next like, or the next achievement. It is in here, in the quiet ruling center of your mind, in the acceptance of nature, in the commitment to virtue. You are exactly where you need to be to start the next chapter. The fog is lifting, the path is clearing, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You are ready to stop navigating by the waves and start navigating by the stars. Take this wisdom with you. Let it settle in your bones. Let it be the anchor in your storm. If this message has resonated with you, if it has brought a moment of calm to your day or a spark of clarity to your mind, I invite you to take a small action. Reflect on these words quietly. Apply them in the smallest moments of your day, when you are stuck in line, when you are tired, when you are unsure. And if you wish to journey further with us, to keep this wisdom close, please support this channel. Like this video to help it reach others who are feeling lost in the dark. Subscribe to Wisdom of Stoic so we can continue to walk this path together. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. We are all walking each other home. Be well, be strong, be at peace.